Okay, pop quiz. What's worse than getting ghosted? Getting genocided so hard that 800 years later, nobody can even read your language anymore. Yeah, we're starting dark today. This is the story of the Xixia Empire. And no, that's not a made-up fantasy kingdom. Though honestly, it sounds like one. Because spoiler alert, the Mongols deleted them from existence so thoroughly that humanity forgot they ever existed for about 600 years. I'm talking full factory reset, gone. Poof. Like your dad who went out for cigarettes. So, in 1908, and yes, we're jumping around chronologically, deal with it, a Russian explorer named Pyotr Kozlov is poking around the desert and stumbles onto thousands of books, written in a script nobody can read, not because it's sloppy, not because it's damaged, but because everyone who could read it is dead. That's the level of petty we're dealing with. The Mongols didn't just conquer the Xixia, they didn't just kill them. They unpersoned them from history. And you know what? It worked. Most of you clicked this video thinking, wait, the what empire? Exactly. Okay, context time. I'll keep it brief because I know your attention span has the lifespan of a TikTok goldfish. The Xixia Empire existed from about 1038 to 1227. Northwest China, smack on the Silk Road, extremely strategic. They were called the Tanguts, a Tibetic people who looked at Chinese characters and said, you know what? Nah, we're making our own. 6,000 characters. These people invented an entire writing system from scratch, not because they had to, but because they could. They had cities, libraries, Buddhist monasteries. They were sophisticated, they were rich, they were stable, which, historically speaking, means they were about to get absolutely wrecked because they made one tiny mistake. They told Genghis Khan to fuck off. Now, Genghis Khan in the early 1200s was basically that guy in your group project who does all the work and then goes nuclear when you don't pull your weight. Except instead of passive-aggressive messages, he burns your entire civilization to the ground. So in 1205, Genghis rolls up like, hey, Xixia buddies, pay tribute, send some soldiers. And the Xixia Emperor's like, yeah, totally, for sure. And then just doesn't. 1207. Genghis comes back, hey, tribute. Xixia, huh? Weird. Must have gotten lost in the mail. 1209. Genghis is officially annoyed. The Xixia surrender, pay up, hand over hostages. Crisis averted. Everyone's fine. Except, no, because Genghis Khan had the memory of an elephant and the forgiveness capacity of a Reddit mod. He's off conquering Persia, northern China, you know, light work, but he doesn't forget. So in 1226, he asks one last time, send me troops. And according to some sources, historians argue about this, the Xixia ruler basically replies, if you need our troops, maybe you're not that great of a conqueror. Did that actually happen? Maybe, maybe not. Doesn't matter. Because Genghis Khan looked at his generals and said, you know what? I'm going to do what gamers call a pro move. And then he committed genocide. This wasn't a war. This was a rage quit. Genghis Khan is about 65 years old, possibly dying, possibly fell off a horse, which is hilarious considering everything else. And he's still like, no, we're finishing this. The Mongols didn't conquer Xixia territory. They erased it. Cities weren't captured. They were removed. Irrigation systems destroyed. Fields salted. The Mongols looked at the Xixia and said, I want no respawns. By 1227, the capital is surrounded. The emperor surrenders. Genghis Khan dies, either during or right after historians are fuzzy, but his alleged final order, kill them all. And his generals went, say less. They executed the emperor, killed the royal family, massacred the population. And here's the part people forget. They hunted survivors. This wasn't revenge. This was cleanup. Genghis Khan literally put genocide in his will. That's commitment to the bit. And it worked. Within a single generation, nobody spoke the Xixia language. Their script vanished. Their cities returned to dust. Chinese histories barely mention them. Mongol histories shrug and move on. For 600 years, the Xixia were basically a historical creepypasta. There used to be an empire here. Sure, Grandpa, let's get you to bed. Until 1908. When Kozlov finds those books, and suddenly everyone's like, oh shit, they were real. We still can't read most of their writing. We've made progress. Shout out to linguists doing God's work. But huge sections are just locked forever. Because the people who could translate it, dead. Their kids, dead. Their kids' kids, you get the idea. An entire civilization's philosophy, literature, history, gone. Because one man held a grudge. Here's the uncomfortable part. The Mongols went on to build the largest empire in history. They're remembered as brilliant administrators, facilitators of trade, cultural connectors. And that's true. But it's also true that sometimes they looked at an ethnic group and thought, you know what would be funny? If you stopped existing, and then they made it happen. The Xixia proved something terrifying. History doesn't just have gaps, sometimes it has voids. Black holes where entire ways of seeing the world used to exist. How many cultures vanished like this? How many languages? How many ideas? We don't know. Because that's kind of the point. Anyway, that's your daily dose of existential dread. If you enjoyed learning about historical atrocities presented with wildly inappropriate levity, hit subscribe. There's plenty more where this came from. And hey, at least the Mongols can't delete your culture. Probably. Okay, no. YouTube definitely might, so subscribe before the algorithm genocides this channel. I'm going to go lie down now. Subscribe for more uncomfortable history lessons. I promise the next one will be just as emotionally damaging. See you soon. Maybe, if the algorithm allows it.